Few more minutes. See if anybody shows up early. How you guys doing? Oops. Forgot my mic. How's everybody doing? Hey, guys. All right, all right, all right. There we go. Much better, right? I don't know why this microphone does this. Once in a while when I move it, it just shuts down. Boom. Unbelievable. With all this new technology, trillion-dollar companies, none of this stuff works consistently. Yes, support levels for Tesla. We got a few minutes. Let's check that out. Let's take a look. You know, Tesla's my baby. I love to trade it up and down. So let me look. I apologize, by the way, that I can't put my screen up. I'm running into an issue. I think I'm going to get some Apple products and just stream with Apple. You know, none of these things work half the time. Let's see. Tesla 435. So let me check my support levels. I have it written down over here. Let's take a look. So I got some support levels here. 436.22 is a minor containment level. End of day, of course. If it holds above that, we're all right. You know, I mean, not all right if you're going long on Tesla, but 430.31, you know, given a 0.25% range is really the heavy support level. So we got FOMC, right? Make sure my mic's still on. We got FOMC coming up. There's a 90% chance right now that that we're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut. That's big. You know, it usually moves the markets. That's why IWM moved this morning. Let's see if it's still held. I don't think so, probably. Nope. Went back down a little bit from its high of 250, 275. Small caps are generally great when it comes to rate cuts. I don't know if any of you guys were in the class or in the last live session I had with Miss Mary regarding small caps, but you know, the small cap stocks, as a business owner, I can tell you, you know, interest rates are very important when you're borrowing money. So they get affected heavily with interest rate reductions, especially at the $1 billion level. Let's see where the SPY's at, 682.12. Looks like it's trying to find that support around, what was it, 681.85 or something like that? Let me see, 681.90, right? That was the, we don't want to see that break. Personally, this can go two ways. I don't know if you guys have been following like all the big boys with this. You know, there was a 685 bull level, right? And then there was like a wall, you know, a wall right above that where it would have to like break through 687. And if it did that, then we got a serious bull run. If not, depending how strong the buyers are going to determine how much this market's going to hold up. Right now, it's literally sitting right at that nugget level right there. It is trying to break down. It's not breaking down yet, but it looks like it might. The volume's big. It's picking up. So let's see what happens. I don't get too nervous when we were nervous last week, and 2 weeks ago and the week before. You can't keep getting nervous when something's down $2 here and $2 there. If it starts to flush heavy, it's a different story. You want to set a stop loss from here, 10%, 15%, not a bad idea. Let's get started. I got a lot of news for you guys. All right. I wrote a lot of stuff for you, so I'm not going to be checking the chat for a minute or two. Let me get through most of it. Tamir is here for you to deliver you quality content, mindset, disciplines, and news. So we're unpacking last week's grind. Last week, S&P rode up. Weekend analysts were buzzing about the SPY and the Magnificent Seven. There were blockbuster headlines on Netflix with the mega bombshell. And then it, went down, even though that's $72 billion buy. So, whether you're trading SPY or iron crypto volatility, I got you. Don't worry. I'm sorry I can't share my screen setup. I'll be honest with you. I'm sick of holding Microsoft products. Seeing Microsoft tank shows me why it should be going down. Now, new additions to the S&P 500. So we thought that SoFi and MSTR might be added. They were on the list, but they did not get added. Who did get added? CRH, Carvana, if any of you know that one, and Comfort Systems USA. Carvana ran up 10% after hours on Friday with the addition to the S&P. So the next addition is in a few months. We can wait and hold off. SPY closed last week, high, looking good. It was exactly what we wanted for a bull run. So we can't judge right now yet. The SPY's at 682. See, it didn't exactly drop. We can't judge it. We got to see what it does throughout the whole week, not just one day. It was a little up this morning, and then it scaled back a little bit, right? Throughout the whole week, the SPY was Monday 680, then it was 681.53, 683.89. I'm looking at my notes here. 684.39, and then Friday closed 685.69. So, it's looking like the same kind of week, to be honest. We had a run up at open, and now, it's going back down, but let's see if it runs up towards the close and tomorrow opens higher. We don't know. We got to see where the volume comes in. We don't have a crystal ball, but from what I can see, it's holding up pretty good. Since we just started this live stream, it's up 75 cents, right? So not so bad. Not so bad. Yield max ETFs. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to get into ETFs just yet, although ETFs are performing very well this year overall, just so you know. It's like a record year. I've never seen anything like this. Everything becomes an ETF. So it's unbelievable. All right, so Magnificent Seven, right? Last week, what do we have? Apple was down 1.5%. iPhone sales steady. China's was concerned. Microsoft was down 0.75%, with the AI CapEx focus. Google was up 2% with ad revenues beating, YouTube shining. I love YouTube. Amazon down 1.86% due to AWS margin pressures. I looked all this stuff up, by the way. I double fact check everything so you guys have the news clean. I personally like Amazon still. Let's see where it's holding. 226.95. Needs to hold above 228. I'll be honest, guys. 226.95 is, a very small degree lower than 228, but that's really the support level. So it's beneath it now. Let's see where it closes out during the day. I'm kind of bullish on Amazon this month, but if the market tips, Amazon is going to go with it a little bit. It seems to be holding up compared to a lot of other names, but, let's see what happens again. So let's get back to NVIDIA, rebounded a little bit, right? Everybody was talking about NVIDIA going down. It rebounded last week a little over a 1.25%. Right now it's sitting around 184. So not so bad. I think NVIDIA is going to move back up to the 200 slowly. I think it might have like one of those slow melt ups with a few days where it jumps up a few bucks, but it's not there yet. Doesn't have the news right now. Chips are very hot in demand, especially around the holidays, right? Every time I buy new computers for my children or for myself, it's always around Black Friday and towards the Hanukkah Christmas season, right? Because that's when you get the deals. Best Buy, this thing, that thing, right? Meta up 5% last week. Didn't have that huge run. By the way, I don't know who took that play, but whoever did, I got out of it the minute or second the market opened. It was such a massive candle that I felt it was going to scale back and then it would need to hold. Let's see where it's holding now. So 666.40. It's down 1% for the day. In the last 5 days, still up 3.76%. So Meta's, it's holding up okay. Not too terrible. And then we've got Tesla. So Tesla was up, Tesla Stressla, 5.78% last week. It had a huge run going from its, like 391 close low. We were calling it out at 402. We were saying it's got to get up to 415, 416. It did it. Then we said it had to get up to around 422, 423. It did it. Then the next level up was around 430. It exceeded it. That was great. That was really the momentum run. So same way it went up, the polarity principle, right? Support becomes resistance. Resistance becomes support. That's what we're seeing right now. It's slowly making lower highs right now. So it started off the morning. Let's take a look at the chart. I wish I could put it up on the screen. We were at 455, and then we took a leg down to around 449, another leg down to around 439. Seemed to have double topped, maybe even triple, more of a double at that level. And then now we're testing the 436 level. It's bouncing off of this a few times, kind of holding, not sure where it wants to be. RSI is slowly starting to tip upwards. So maybe it's found its bottom, or maybe it's going to break through and go even lower. We need to regain the moving averages back all the way up to, above 439, 440 for it to be back in my opinion, a super safe zone. So 442, I'd feel really comfortable with it because it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit of a bleed, right? You took it. Very nice. We got ours, Kevin. Nice job. I made a lot of money on Tesla, by the way, on that run up. So I'm still in a play right now. I got in it around 437 today. When I saw it dropped, it looked like it was somewhat holding, a little risky. I'm a high momentum risk trader, so high risk momentum trader. So I like to get in a little early sometimes with a stop loss, usually on Tesla. And I don't recommend this to you guys. I'm just telling you what I do. I put a 30% stop loss. I know that sounds aggressive, but Tesla swings big. So you can't put a 5-10% stop loss. I used to do that back in the day, and you just get stopped out and then it runs up. So whenever you're putting a stop loss on a name, you want to look and see what the previous day did or what it swings in a day, right? So if the stock can swing $20 in a day, you're not going to put a stop loss that's $5 away because you're going to get stopped out no matter what it ends the day with, unless you're scalping and you're just getting in and out really fast. So you got to really look and see. Amazon, for example, you could set a slower stop loss because it moves really slowly. Amazon, pre-market low was 229 and now it's at 226. It's like, 1%. It's not like massive move. Whereas Tesla's pre-market low, let's see where it was here. Let's get back to a different chart. Wish I could put this up on the screen. I promise I'll get better with that. By the way, I'm going to have guests on. I spoke to a bunch of people in Discord. They're going to join us. I'm trying to get some higher level hedge fund people that I deal with, billionaire level, to just come on and cameo performance as a friendship token to me. So pre-market low here, 446.94. So you see what I mean with Tesla? That's a big jump. That's a $10 jump right there. So, obviously you can't hold as the same stop as you would hold a Tesla as you would hold with Amazon. All right, let's get back to the news. Overall, we had a pretty soft landing, in my opinion. The S&P growth, was expected at 11.2%. Hasn't really crashed. We had the dip to 652 in November. That was expected. That was called out that we needed to really go back to 652 to make higher highs. We kind of did that. We're just positioning right now for Fed week. The VIX bottomed out at 1528. Right now, the VIX is sitting at probably about $1 higher with the way the volatility looks. Let's see, 1678. All right. For those of you that like to hedge, if you really believe that there's going to be a tank in the market, there's 3 ways that I hedge when I hedge. Not really comfortable fully hedging now yet, but there's 3 ways that I hedge. I buy the SQQQ, which is the short version of the QQQ instead of taking puts, the 2X, right? If I think the Qs are going to drop. I take a position in SPY puts, usually, 2 days out or something like that. So I have some time for it to play out at some point where I would cash out if I see it's bouncing off of a certain level. And then the VIX. When the VIX gets low enough, I often like to play the VIX 2 weeks out. I would love to do it a week out, but sometimes you get these movements and then you'll get time decay on the VIX very fast and your contracts will be worth nothing. So not worth it. But 2 weeks, 3 weeks out on the VIX, I usually would play. I don't love playing it now because where are we now? We're in December 8th, right? So 2 weeks out takes us right to before Christmas. So unless we get a massive Santa poopy and not a rally, we're going to have, the VIX is going to be a hard play. Could it bounce heavy? Sure, the VIX could go up to $20, but the VIX measures the percentage movement in a day, right? So when you see the SPY moving from 682 to 684 to 682 to 684, it's range bound, right? So the VIX is also going to be range bound. And if you're betting on the VIX and it moves $1, you're going to lose that. Even if you're up $1, you're not really up $1 because the time decay is going to kill you. So, you want to get in when it's either bottomed out, like if you got in at 1528 and you bought it 2 weeks out, maybe you're hoping that it goes up to 1750 or $18. Could be a good move. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. The market flushes, the VIX is going to go through the roof, right? I don't know if you guys were on the last session when I said when the VIX is high, it's time to buy, and the VIX had hit 27 at some point. I didn't want to give advice to buy, but usually that's the time when the swing is so big and a lot of names took a big hit that it is a good entry point. A lot of people use cash reserves based on the VIX, right? So when it's at 15, they have less. I mean, they have more because there's nothing to do. There's not a lot of movement. They don't want to have all their money invested in the market for a small movement. And I'm not talking about your investment portfolio. I'm talking about if you're a trader and you're swinging money, going into trades when the volatility is extremely low and the stocks barely move, you're not going to make options plays. You're not going to make money on those plays because the time decay is going to get you and there's not going to be a lot of increases in the stock. But when the stock moves heavy and you get these big swings, that's when you can make very good scalp trading or swing trading, right? So let's get back. Sorry, I digress a little bit. Just wanted to add a little bit of that in there. Netflix had the $72 billion deal with Warner Brothers. The bid bombshelled. They, reportedly won the auction, but, they are experiencing hurdles. The news is saying that there's going to be transformative streaming wars, as it was reported. Combines HBO and Max with Netflix text. Regulatory hurdles are coming. I don't know about you guys, but I canceled my Netflix subscription. Just doesn't do it for me anymore. Some of you guys might still be watching a ton of shows. I like to buy stocks also based on what I'm doing, what my kids are doing, right? I might even have a stock episode where I'm going to interview my children with Roblox and all different names and see what they use and what they buy, because that's our future, right? So we want to know what they're doing, what we're doing, right? The cryptos was on a roller coaster, but now it seems to be stabilizing around the $90,000 level. I think last week it dipped down to about 88, and that's where it held support. Let me take a look. Yep, 88,054. That was on Sunday. Bitcoin trades 24/7, so a little bit easier to predict, when you have pre-market and post-market moves. Let's see if it holds. I'd like it to hold. Bitcoin would go up. There's a bunch of stocks that go up with it, like MSTR, MSTX, the mining stocks, BMNR, and a bunch of other stuff. So far it seems pretty good. I mean, 90,000 Bitcoin is not bad. Even though it topped out at 120, I was buying Bitcoin at 3,500 and mining it years ago. So when I see 90,000 Bitcoin, my eyes just pop out of their head. All right. Now we got earnings coming ahead. What do we have earnings coming in this week? We had the pre-market Toll Brothers this morning. We've got aftermarket GameStop for all you meme lovers. Tomorrow we have AutoZone and a fan favorite of mine, Oracle and Adobe. Two big names I like to follow. Personally, I feel like Adobe is coming back from the dead and Oracle needs an AI story, but I love the stock. I'm thinking about taking a leap position on it right now. I took a position this week that I cashed out of today. I took a position last week that I cashed out of today, a nice options position when I saw it coming out of the $202, $203 level and moving up. I bought some $205 calls and it ran up nicely past 220. Then we have Synopsys. So I want you to know what's on my radar. I think Oracle is an amazing stock with a massive future and great technology. They just don't have the AI story right now. And right now we're in a mild fear mentality pre-potential rally. But once it rallies, it's going to move 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there, 30 bucks here. So if you guys are Oracle lovers, you can dollar cost average the stock. That would be a great recommendation. Or you could pick up a leap or two or a swing play or two on that. I think it's a very good name. It's fairly held support around 202. Then you've got Adobe. Adobe's got some amazing technology. They've got a lot of new memberships coming in with all of their services, right? Who doesn't use Adobe PDF? Like, it's literally one of the main things we use. They also have 2D to 3D technology they came out with earlier this year where they can turn any 2D image into 3D. That's being utilized in many ways online. I don't know if you guys use AI or if you've seen how much it's advanced with this type of technology. I have Grok and I constantly use the Imagine feature and bring pictures to life. I do it with my kids. I do it for videos. It's a lot of fun. So we're moving very fast in that regard. We got to see who's going to be the leaders. Google seems to be taking the pack, but there's a lot of new stuff coming out. Wednesday, we've got Broadcom, AVGO, right? A fan favorite, and Costco. Also going into the holidays, I think it could be a good buy. And Lululemon, also a big favorite with a lot of people. Thursday, we got the infamous or famous Micron. I say infamous because they're so dirty the way they came out of nowhere and ran up very fast. They are a very big institution play. Micron, I missed the boat on it. I was in it earlier and I got out too soon, but you might want to keep your eye on that. And on Friday, we got Chewy. Okay. Out of these, I like Adobe, Oracle, Micron, and AVGO. Those are the ones I like most. So look at the earnings, see what happens. Let's see if we get rate cuts tomorrow. You know, if the Fed is dovish, long SPY calls, hedge with the VIX if crypto dumps more. You know, what's your big bet this week, guys? Anybody have any plays that they are eyeballing this week? Put it in the chat. I'll see if I can discuss it towards the end of the show. Now, top AI business and stocks right now. AI spans hardware, software, cloud, and enterprise tools, right? So I'm going to give you a list of leading public companies grounded by focus areas with tickers and some brief notes based on market cap growth and analyst buzz. I'm going to start covering the AI sector more because it seems to be the focus of everything. Currently, the AI sector market cap is 28 trillion. Okay. As far as chips and hardware go, leading the pack, we've got NVIDIA. We've got right behind it AMD with the AI accelerators and OpenAI partnership. We got Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM or TSMC, if you are calling it by its full name, which manufactures AI chips, NVIDIA and Blackwell partnerships, right? They're valued at 1.2 trillion now. I bought this company when I was a kid because those are my initials, TSM, Tamir Shalom Mori. Then we got Broadcom, custom AI chips, and VMware integration, right? Those are the big leaders for the chips and hardware currently. As far as cloud platforms go, we got Microsoft with its OpenAI stake. We've got Amazon with the AWS, Bedrock being 30% of its business. And, AI for e-com and ads and all that stuff, right? We've got Alphabet, starting to lead the pack with Google, Gemini, and pretty much everything else. And then we've got Oracle, which is cloud infrastructure and OpenAI Meta. Out of all of these, I think Oracle can make a massive percentage gain. I think Google's the safe play in the cloud and platform business. And right in the middle, you got Amazon and Microsoft. They'll probably make slow gains throughout the whole year and just keep up with the Mag 7 pack. As far as software and apps go, we've got Meta, right, with its llama models and its AI ads. Meta's still trying to figure it out with they're cutting budgets, they're cutting AI, they're adding budgets, they're moving things around. So Meta's moving up. Maybe it hit its bottom, but they still got to prove themselves as well. Palantir, with their huge government contracts and their AI data analytics. Just a friend of mine asked me the other day, he has a very large $100 million company, and he was asking me, how can I integrate Palantir into my business? And he went and he looked into it, and he was like shocked at what Palantir could do for him with their, their data analytics. So pretty cool stuff. I'm telling you, it's very usable, and that's why Palantir jumped up. A lot of people looked at it almost like a meme stock back in the day. Oh, Palantir, it's never going to go this high, but it's a strong company, and it's got real stuff behind it. Then you've got Path, right, with agentic AI automation. I don't really follow Path much. I see it, written here and there, but I don't really follow it. Maybe I should start. And then we've got Adobe, right? Like I said, they got the AI tools, the Firefly, and the creative stuff going on. I think Adobe, was restructuring what they were doing. They were just like a silent little giant, waiting to get back on the pack. Adobe was trading at a much higher price than it is right now. I was trading it around the $400 level, a year or so ago. So Adobe's got a lot of room to run back up, and I'm going to be waiting for the technical analysis of Adobe to prove themselves to me, because I think it could be a very good momentum play when it comes, as well as Oracle. Then as far as specialty and emerging AI stuff, we got ASML, right? They do lithography for AI chips. We've got Dell, which has AI computers and servers. It says here in my notes, $15 billion shipped year to date. So they're not small still. I mean, Dell, I see Dells everywhere. Big Bear AI, that was a big play I called out earlier this year around $5. A lot of other people online have called out BBAI. They have defensive AI and government biometric tools. They are a sleeping mini giant. I have leaps on them in 2028. I am not even looking at them. Once in a while, if I see them make a momentum move, I'll jump in, jump out in the short term. But I am looking very long term for BBAI. I'm going to let those leaps cook like I did with my SoFi leaps, which I finally got out of because I decided my money would be better working on SoFi when it makes its run back up. Seemed to have held at the $25 level, and now it's like between $25 and $30, just teetering. It lost its flair, but it'll get it back. It's a big, amazing company. It's one of my favorites. I'm just not playing it right now. And then we've got SoundHound, right? Voice AI, post-chat, GPT surge, right? So they're doing pretty good. A few more names that I feel are important for you guys to know about. Let me see if you got any questions in the meantime. Chewy. Nice. You've been trading Chewy for a while. Very good. So let's see what happens with Chewy this week. Snowflake. Snowflake's a fan favorite by institutions. Warren Buffett, a bunch of other people have boasted Snowflake. When they make a move, they move. So let's see where Snowflake's at right now. Just want to bring it to your attention because sometimes you're not thinking about these names. I like to write down the names I like as I hear it, and then check them daily. And then I start to see which one's going to move. And I say, okay, I'm going to pick these three names. I'm going to watch them today. Snowflake's at $226, a heavy drop from a month ago, almost 16%, right? So, I mean, it's a strong company. It's got a big future. The stock is very, very big down, but, price targets for this are over 20% higher. So their 52-week high was $280. That's about 30% away from where it is now. So if Snowflake started to get some momentum and it started climbing back on all its averages and hitting all the steps, I could see Snowflake getting back to the 250 to 280 level. I'm not touching it right now yet, but my eyeball's on it as well. So I'd like yours to be also. Palantir we discussed. Then I got one that came to my attention today that I don't really follow, but I'm starting to. Datadog. Big news came out with Datadog about AWS. They signed a strategic deal with Amazon. launching an observatory for Bedrock and rolled out their first AI agent called Bits. Okay. Haven't had a chance to really test it out, but they also released tools to cut costs made with a security partnership with Contrast. So they got some moves. Their Q3 revenue was strong, up 28%. I looked up their guidance. It was pretty solid. Lately, the stock's been weak, down about 20% in the past month. They closed Friday around 151. Let's see where Datadog is right now. But they're on my radar. They're up today almost 2%. Nothing crazy, But in the last month, they're down 22.8%. So, but with good earnings. So from one perspective, they're great, but they just don't have any momentum. TSLL, you ask? Well, TSLL is the 2X Tesla, ETF, Bull Direction Daily. TSL is just under $19 right now, down 8% today. So up over 60% in the last 6 months because Tesla's ran. In the past month, it's only down 7%, which means it could be up by tomorrow. The 52-week high on TSL is 41. I want to mention something, though, about these 2X things, though. They don't always run. You can't hold them all the time. If you catch them on a really, really, really big low, great. But if you look back, and I challenge you to do this with any one of these 2X tickers, if you look back on them, they don't perform the same way 1 year to 1 year, right? I like to trade MSTX right now because I'm waiting for an MSTR move. But if you look back MSTX a year ago and MSTR a year ago, the ratio isn't the same. The ETFs don't tend to hold the same performance like a stock would. They're good for the short-term, runs. You think that Tesla's going to run. It's took a big dip. You may not want to buy the heavy Tesla calls, so you pack yourself up in TSLL calls, right? And you go in with the same amount that you would put in Tesla, but you can buy yourself a week further in the time frame with less time decay, or you want to buy the stock, but a lot of it, and then you make a move that's less risky with a more riskier name, on a dip. I'm okay with that, but you don't want to hold it long term. I mean, you could get back in and out of it throughout the course of the year, but these 2Xs, be careful. And I'm just telling you right now, here, look at TS. Let's do a comparison right now so you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so we got TSLL, since the guy mentioned it in the chat over here. You go back year to date, right? Let's pick any date here. Let's pick June 5th. I don't know. $9.81. Now let's go to Tesla. Let's go year to date. Try to get around the same here. June 6th, $295. Not exactly the same ratio, right? Right now, TSL is trading at more than double that. But if you go back to the Tesla date where it was $284, it's not trading at more than double that. It's not trading at $570. So there's something to be said about the value lost or gained in the ETF. I don't like to hold them long term, okay? Unless you're selling covered calls against them and you got some kind of strategy where when the theta is high and the covered calls are expensive, you're taking advantage and racking in some revenue, and then you're selling it back later or something like that. So just want to let you guys know it's very important to pay attention to that. All right, keep going. Not too much left on the news. Then we'll have a little chat. I want to talk about Tesla a little more. I have a little bit of notes here. I wanted to get into them. So we don't want to see it close for the week below 442. That will signal, in my opinion, a bearish potential reversal. Then we got the 430 to 433 range. That's a major support level for me. I want to share this with you because I am currently in a Tesla trade, and I'm in and out with stop losses at 30%. I love trading Tesla in November, December. This year is a little different because November was like dead the whole month, down, and then at the end it closed up. So very different than most Novembers, but it did close up. It'll be recorded in history as an up month, right? So this year I'm trying to learn from my mistakes and get out of the Tesla trades a little bit quicker, because one bad move in a trade where you oversize your position and it could be catastrophic. So, that's why I wanted to add that about Tesla. Right now, Tesla is still holding the 436, climbing up a little bit slowly. It just regained the 9. Okay, not so bad. What do we got here? It's holding at the 436 and change level. Let's see if it can climb up to 437. And then I see my next level up to be 438.85. And then what I really like to see is get past VWAP, which is at just under 442. I'd like it to hold above 442. Apple. Okay, you want to look at Apple? Let's look at Apple. Apple, by the way, I think is going to be an unbelievable play for the year. If it dips, I think Apple 2026 is going to be fantastic. Why do I think it's going to be fantastic? They are getting involved heavily in AI. They are a sleeping giant. They have tremendous cash reserves. And their technology works. Who here has Apple phones in the chat? I'm just curious. Who has Apple phones? Put a thumbs up if you got an Apple phone. Put a thumbs down if you have a Samsung or some other kind of phone. Just like to see. Let's get a little consensus here. I have an Apple phone. I have 2, actually. So one's my Israeli line. One's my American line. Okay. They're reliable, easy to use. In fact, Josh and Mike and Mary and everybody has pretty much been telling me to get a Mac so that I can stream better, have better quality visuals, and do all the stuff, better. I still use iTunes regardless. I still use a ton of other Apple products. So we got 2 people that don't, 3 people that don't. 1, 2, 3. So right now it's even. It's about even. Let's see. Come on, everybody. Let's jump in. Let's see really what we got here. Only takes a second to throw a thumbs up in there. I don't care if you give me a thumbs up. Give a thumbs up in the chat. Someone's up. Hey, Miss Mary, what's going on? Tesla's critical support is at 435, aligns with the 50 EMA, needs to hold otherwise. It retests the 425 to 422 zone. There is a local support around 431, 432. Yes, the 431, 432 is what I was talking about. She's talking about the MAs, right? It seems to be holding above the 50 MA right now. It's still bouncing a little bit up. 436.75. When we started this video, we were at 435.31. So we're moving up. All right, let's get a count here. Apple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 3, 5 to 4, 5 to 5, 5 to 6. Oh, a lot of people don't have Apple. How do you guys like your non-Apple phones? Because everybody I hear when they transfer from an Apple is perfectly fine after the first 2 months of transition. But most Apple people stick with it forever because it's so easy to just transfer. So we seem to have more Apple phones than non-Apple phones. Okay, that should tell you something about the company. I'm just saying, when you're, I hate my Apple phone. I'm sorry. Did you download the new upgrade with the something glass, whatever they call liquid glass update? It's a little bit annoyed. Never liked Apple, honestly. I want to go back to Samsung. My kids won't let me. I hear you. So your kids like Apple. Okay. I'm adding a few extra votes for that. So we have probably like a 60-40 Apple, non-Apple right now so far. That tells you a lot. Would I get into Tesla now if I still have call options? I would wait. The real test is coming up. There's no reason to jump into it right this second. I mean, I'd like to see what it does the last hour of the day, which is coming up in half an hour. It's climbing a little bit. Volume seems to be picking up. The RSI is pointing up now. MACD's looking better. It had a nice dip, so we have to see. Let's see what the SPY's doing. SPY's also recovering a little bit. It was 681 and change when we started, 682.24 now. So a lot of things they look like they're recovering. NVIDIA's up 0.8% since we started. This might have been a minor dip before FOMC. Market makers often like to tank the market and buy it back, but a lot going on. I'm not going to speculate too much. So let's keep it to the charts on this one. I think technical analysis is extremely important right now. No, I meant half an hour. I meant half an hour to the last hour of the day. Yes, the market closes in an hour and a half, but in a half an hour, we will be in the last 1 hour of the day where the theta and everything is very low. And, if you wanted to make a scalp play on something, on a momentum move, it would be great. I don't know. I got to look at the calendar and see who's trading in the Discord at the last hour of the day, but I'll probably join them. Galaxy all the way. We got a few people like the Galaxy. My son has one. He loves it. He doesn't even think about Apple. And by the way, this is a lot to think about. I thought Google earlier this year was going to fall off a little bit because nobody was using Gmail that I know of other than older people. None of my kids use email at all. And the AI that they were using wasn't from Google. So I had thought that maybe they were going to fall off, but they didn't. They rallied and they seem to be coming up with an unbelievable product, kind of like when NVIDIA out of nowhere came out with a chip that is 100 times faster than anything else. And then they were selling big chips to factories and stuff like that. When you go buy a computer and you're a gamer, which is what most kids do today, they're buying gaming chips. That's what matters. The graphics card. That's really what matters more than anything. So, who sells the graphics cards? You got NVIDIA and you got like AMD. That's pretty much the whole graphics card industry. And I was actually wondering a year and a half ago, why AMD was so low. And surprise, it's not anymore. So, look around you, see what you use. This is a great test. I did this whole thumbs up thing because this is a test. Now, whoever owns Galaxy, whoever owns Apple, those are the companies, right? That's what we're talking about here. Samsung, Galaxy, Apple, right? That's what you're using. TVs used to be Sony. Remember when TVs were a big thing? When, the new TV that came out was so awesome. Now you have TVs are so cheap. You can just go buy an LG or any other brand. It doesn't even matter. There's so many. But Sony at one point was Walkmans and CD players and, TVs, and they had the dominance, right? Nintendo was the gaming system, right? So that's what you got to look at when you're looking at names. Anybody else want me to cover anything or take a look at something right now? We got a little bit of time. We got 24 minutes left. I'll be happy to get into any discussion you guys want. Kind of finish with the news for the day. I really want to see what happens during FOMC. There's a 90% chance we're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut. APL, and Google. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's in a book. It's reading Rainbow. Remember that? Anybody remember that? Nobody. All right, Google. We'll start with Google. Google 313.51 down 2.66% today. It's sitting right on the 20 right now, if I'm reading this correctly. The 20 and the 9 are kind of converging together here. RSI pointing up, MACD pointing up. It's looking like it's holding support. By the way, guys, what I like to do when I'm trying to figure out the SPY, even though the SPY is 500 names, I do like to see what all Mag 7 names are doing. If you see all 7 of them holding support, it's kind of the way one of the evaluations I do as a momentum trader personally. I see the volume and I see all the big names, what they're holding. Like NVIDIA, since we started this conversation, now it's at $185. So we're seeing, like I said in the beginning of the video, we might get a slow bleed up. That's what we're seeing. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but that's what I was seeing with the volume. It's picking up. Tesla's up to 438. I think we need to see Google regain the next level of support, which, if I'm reading this correctly, is about 314.82. That's what I'd like to see. And then get past VWAP at 316.25. So if it does that, I think we're going to see Google climb back to the 200 at 318. And then maybe it'll get back to pre-market low, which was 319.45, and pre-market high was 323. So it's got room. If Google finds support here, it's got room, but it doesn't have a lot of volume right now. Everything else is looking good. RSI is looking good. MACD's RSI is not looking amazing, but It doesn't have a tremendous volume right now. APLD was the next choice. Let's see. I don't really follow APLD, although I know Josh loves that stock. Let's see. Applied Digital. Ooh, it's climbing. Past pre-market high. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-minute candles. Let's go on the 15-minute. I like to do the 15-minute at this time of day. We got 3 green 15-minute candles. APLD is up 2% right now. It's got the RSI moving up. In fact, this might be a good, wait a second. Who's in APLD? Because this is doing very, very well right now. Reading Rainbow, 1980. Bomanji Jones. APLD is good. I'd buy the stock right now, actually. You know, I don't really trade options on APLD. I don't know it. I don't know. I like to trade names that I know how it moves, but it's looking good. It looked like it found support at the $30 level today. It hit it twice, $30.55, right? And now it's moved up to the next leg of support, was around 31 and change. It's up there. It's moving. It's moving. It's looking strong. It's looking strong. I like APLD right now. What's APLD's? Let's see something here. Well, it's 52-week high is $40.20. Still got 30% to go to reach it. It's got any news? Let's see what news we got. Liquid cooling and 12, 14-month build for durable bets on APLD stock. Let's see. What do we got on APLD? Let's see if we got. Okay, we got December 6th. We had a lot of insider sales. That's probably why it dropped, alongside peers like BlackRock and CleanSpark. A big director offloaded a lot of its shares, so that often will drop the stock a little bit. That was after a surge on December 4th. Here's an insider sales filing. It's a 0.5% dip after that. It's looking good. I like APLD. I may actually get into it towards the end of the day. I'm going to take a look. Would I sell a put on APLD? Maybe. You got to look and see how much money you're getting for that put you're selling. You know, you're going to lock up $3,100 roughly to get how much money, you know? So look at the puts. I'm not going to look at the puts chain right now for that. But I think if we break above 30, let me see the chart here. 2, is that what it is? That's where the high wick is, 31.97. If we break above 31.97, we could have a breakout. That's what it looks like to me. You might want to ask Mary or Mike to double check my work here, but that's what it looks like to me. Let me look at the chat, see what's going on here. Okay. Oh, Mary, here she is again. What's up? But a breakout of 32 confirms a move up to 35. Winner, chicken dinner. All right. Fantastic. I agree. USAR. I love USAR. I'm in a long-term position on that. You know, rare earth minerals are coming back. They took a huge run up, by the way, whoever watched it earlier this year, and then they tanked. I mean, they went from $9.79 all the way up to $38.68. And then they went all the way back down to $12 and change, 12 and a half, something like that. They're up 32% in the last 6 months, but in the last month, they're pretty much even. So, yeah, let's see what the chart looks like on USAR. What do we got here? We got 18 more minutes, no problem. Because I would like to start trading a little later. These are one of those last hour of the days I actually like to trade. USAR is looking good. They just broke above pre-market low during our little meeting at about, I'd say if they break 1788, we'll go on to newer highs for this week. Pre-market high was 1761. I'm going to actually set a reminder. I'm going to actually put a little bell thing for myself. Do any of you guys use TradingView to hold on, let me just put this in and I'll finish my sentence. Do any of you guys use TradingView to set alerts? I do it all the time. In fact, I use Josh's alerts often when I don't have the time to chart. I trust him. So although I don't say follow a trader, but Josh is a pro. And I like his scalp alerts in the morning. So sometimes pre-market when I'm working on news or videos or something else, putting my kids' breakfast together or whatever it is, I will take his levels and I'll put a little plus mark and set them in my chart, right? Each level, 682, 683, whatever it is. And then my phone will start going with each level that it moves. I think that's very, very, very important because when you're charting and you want to remember, use the alerts. TradingView is unbelievable. I think that they are one of the most underrated tools that you can have, especially when you start to FOMO into names and you're running around from one name to another, or you get into too many positions, or you have a bunch of investments, or you don't know. The alerts are amazing. Like right now, I can't be in every name, but I just put an alert on APLD. I just put an alert on USAR because of you guys. Because of you guys. Thank you very much. You brought it to my attention, and I could make very good money on that. And maybe I'll start doing that and doing giveaways. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll do that. I'll take one of your guys' trades, and if I make money, I'll do a nice giveaway in the chat. That'll be a lot of fun. How do you put alerts? Okay, so you go into TradingView. I wish I had my. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't stream. So sad. So sad. Mary, help me. So you go into TradingView, and you got that little plus sign that moves around, right? Towards the left side of the chart where the line is that you're moving around with your mouse, there's a plus sign. When you click on that plus sign, it'll say add alert at the price level that you're at. And then you just add the alert, right? What it does is when the stock hits that number, you get a little ding and a little thing pops up on your screen. And if you have the app on your cell phone, you get it also. Very helpful. It's a little alarm that tells you that the stock passed the level you want it to pass. When I'm trading Tesla aggressively, I put like 12 of them in there. I'm not kidding. I have them at all sorts of levels. I'm not going to share because I have my whole thing. You going live, Mary? Everybody should go to Mary's live for the last hour of the day. If she's you going live, Mary, let everybody know. You can put the link in the description if you want. You have my blessing. We got 682, 39, 40 on the SPY. Looks like it's toying with the 9 EMA. It passed it, went up to the 20, bounced down off of it, and now it's slightly below. Again, it's just one 5-minute candle. Let's see what it does. We had 3 greens in a row. I'm liking it. I'm liking that Tesla's recovering a little bit. The SPY is recovering a little bit. NVDA is recovering a little bit. Amazon lagging. I really like to see Amazon above 228. If we're the Avengers, I'm probably like Black Widow. I'm the weakest one out of these guys. Or maybe I'm Hulk because I'm very aggressive. Let's see. What other names you guys put in here that you wanted to see? INTC. All right. Sorry. I just missed that. I caught you. All right. Wow. INTC is not even on my chart anymore. I used to trade it a lot. I stopped trading it around $36, $35. Wow. They actually recovered. $40. I mean, the government got involved, and that's usually not a good sign. Their management historically has been horrible. But like I said before, do you use Intel products? I'm on a computer right now that has an Intel i9 processor. So we're using them. Let's see. Intel currently is way below pre-market low and below the 9 and below the 20, below everything. It needs to get above the 40.23 level and then get above the 40.41 level, surpassing VWAP at 40.50. It's got some ways to go. Down 3% today. RSI is pretty flat. It's not showing a lot of volume. MACD is not amazing. I'm not liking Intel right this second, to be honest, especially being down so much from pre-market low from the previous day. And after a huge run-up, we had a huge run-up on Friday. It went from 40 all the way, 40.80 all the way up to 42.82. So we came all the way down $2.80. It seems to have bottomed out at 39.71, but we might retest that level. Who knows? It's not looking great, in my opinion. All right, what do we got? Mara and CLSK. You guys are giving me good training. I like this. I don't normally look at charts for people. It's not my main skill. But it's always good to hone all your skills, all your disciplines. You guys make me better. So thank you for that. All right, Mara, also below pre-market low. RSI a little bit higher than Intel. Volume slightly higher. MACD a little bit better. They're kind of flat right now. Below pre-market low, below the 9, below everything. They're not exactly great. Let's see. That's on the 15-minute, by the way. I'm using the 15-minute currently. Towards the end of the day, I don't like to use the 5-minute unless it's the last 30 minutes or so of trading. I like 15-minute candles, 30-minute candles, as you go along in the day. And then if you're just scalping at the end of the day, obviously you want to see what's happening on the minute, on the 2-minute, on the 3-minute, on the 5-minute, right? All right, so going to the 30-minute candles, the last 2 candles are good. But in the last 15 minutes, not doing so good. No matter which price range I choose, which time frame I choose, we are not doing amazing. On the 1 hour, we're kind of it wicked up to VWAP and then it fell back. So if it did that in the past hour, I just don't see it. It looks like it has a few touches down here around 1172. It's at 1179. It's not closing red, but don't love it right now. What was the next ticker symbol? CLSK and DKNG. Yes, tons of fake outs, Mary. Absolutely. That's what I was saying earlier. The volume was low and it's not making big moves. And I like to look at the VIX. A lot of people underrate the VIX. I use that as a barometer for market movement because you're going to be skewed emotionally on the 5 names that you watch, and you're going to make an opinion on what you think the market's doing as a whole based on looking at just the SPY and a few names you're watching. It's not true. You have a much broader market than that. VIX is at 1677, down 9 cents from when we started this, roughly. So the high of the day was 1709, just like I said it could hit. And the low of the day was 1610. It's not really that crazy. It's up 8% today, which is a lot. But that's a good number to be at, actually. The VIX 16, 17, it's a healthy number. What do we got? Amazon. Okay, I love Amazon. I'll do Amazon. Sorry, I know I owe somebody DKNG. I'll stay a little longer if you want. Let's go to DKNG. You're making me add a lot of names to my trade view here. Giraffe Kings. Gamblers. Who's a gambler? All right, let's see. I like to play poker a lot. I go to tournaments sometimes. I came in 69th place in Israeli World Championship. Let's see where we got here. DraftKings looking good. It's looking like it's good. It went below the 50 earlier. It went below. It touched the. Is that the 100? Right now, RSI is okay. MACD's not okay. It's above the 20. I'd like to see it get to 35.29. That's what I'd like to see on DraftKings. And then 35.41. Those are the two touches that I would like to see DraftKings finish out today to give me some strength, or open up tomorrow. It looks like it's building momentum. The volume's coming up. The RSI is starting to point upward. Let's look at it on a different time frame. On the 15 time frame, it looks like it's making higher lows, so that's good. Mary can tell us what this pattern's called. I forgot it, but it's a good pattern. It's a good pattern, a bullish pattern right now. Your son placed fifth in the World Series of Poker. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate you. All right, let's get back to Amazon. And then I'll do, who do I owe something to? I owe somebody else something. Oh my gosh, I have so many names in here right now. How you guys enjoying the live stream? You enjoy the news? Do you enjoy, just locally? All good, still good. Do you enjoy the way I deliver the information? Something specific you might want me to look up? I spend about 2 hours in the morning really going through all the news networks, everything. And I promise I'll start using a better camera like my iPhone, but I couldn't get the technology to work. I figure it's more important to give you guys the right stuff than make it look cool. But I like things when they look cool too. I like to do giveaways. I'll bring on some surprise guests. Josh, Mike, everybody's all agreed to come on the show, so that'll be cool. I appreciate you guys. If there's anything you want, let me know. Okay, let's get back to Amazon because I like to please. So if there's something that you guys are interested in me providing, I'll do it. I'm not like Mike or Mary in the sense where I'm going to read charts all day, but maybe I will be one day. But I definitely like to give you my perspective, which is usually a little different than most. And I like to follow momentum news, and I like to it's like, there's pattern recognition in technical analysis, right? But there's also pattern recognition in market news and in business. I'm a business guy. I own several companies, and sometimes when you make a move in business, it's not based on just what everybody's doing. It's based on when you see a pattern. All of a sudden, all the bananas are selling in the market stand, and you're like, "Why are all the bananas selling?" So you buy more bananas. You may not hear of bananas being good, but if you own a fruit stand and all the bananas are selling, that tells you to buy more bananas, right? So, it's a logic-based system. All right, Amazon. I have a nice play in Amazon, by the way. I'm in calls for next week, which they have not been stopped out yet. I'll tell you what position I have. I have the December 19th, $225 calls. I'm currently down 15% on them. Okay, actually, I want to pick one more. Okay, Amazon is not looking amazing right now. The RSI looks like it's recovering a little bit. MACD's pointing down. It is not looking very good for Amazon. And they move slow. They could slowly bleed down. I remember this level very well. So it seems to be double touching around 226.70. Let's see where it is earlier, 226.80. Let's go back to here where it bounced off of 223.80 and 225. Amazon is not doing good. I'd like to see them climb back to 228. I mean, they tend to perform often when you least expect them to. Let's see where it was here. So where was the high? It ran all the way up. It wicked up 238. That was on the 2nd. Okay, so on Thursday, it touched the same level at around 11 o'clock, and it bounced off of it. The pattern looks like it might be repeating. I mean, I'm trying to look at this pattern, and it looks like a similar pattern. If it breaks to the downside and it doesn't recover, we're going to see it go down to around 225 and then 223.80. In fact, I think I'll exit my trade if it breaks the 225 level Definitely exit if it breaks the 223.80 level. Right now, what we really want to see it do is climb back above 228.18. All right. That's the number we're looking for. It might make some small touches along the way in this climb, 227.13, and then a tiny touch around 227.40. I'm going to actually put all of these alerts in to see if it's momentum moving up. 227.79. There's not a whole lot of volume coming in right now. Very sad. Yes, I'll be joining you there, Jadaru. Have a blessed day. All right, guys. Anybody want anything for the last minute or two? Did I miss anyone? Did I miss any plays? I apologize if I did. I think I got everything in the Discord here. I mean, in the live chat here. We got 97 people. Any questions? Anything you're worried about? Any news you want to know that I can look up for you that I might not know offhand? Any ticker symbols you want me to show you the levels that are in right now? The way I see the market currently is I see it scaling back and accumulating, and we may get a bounce in the morning from FOMC and speculation for it. We may get continuation throughout the day. If it repeats the pattern of last week, each day of the week will be higher. If it breaks to the downside, we will have each day be lower. That's the way I see it right now. I don't see it going up one day and down one day. I see a decision being made. I'll look up RIVN and somebody asked me a question. I don't understand percentage change on options. How do you know much it will cost? Okay, that's a few angles I can go in there. So when you're talking about options, a lot of times the market makers are changing the cost of options based on a few factors, right? So if you're getting into an option play, it's not inconceivable that the cost of the option goes up as the volume and the interest and the volatility go up, right? That's why I always recommend people, if they're in a high volatility market and they own something and it's doing very well, you could sell covered calls against it and you'll get very big options premiums. So when you're looking at an option, there's two parts to it, right? There's the actual price. So if you're an in the money option, let's say you're buying an Amazon option right now, and the price is right now at 227. You're buying the, I think they might have a 227.50, but let's say you're buying the 227 call. So whatever price the option is, that's all time because you're buying it at 227. So if it costs you $2, it's $2 in time decay. So what's going to happen is you got 5 days left in the week. Each day, that's going to go down a little bit, right? The time portion of it, because you're losing it over the course of the week. That's the best way I can explain it. I'm not going to get into the deep technical explanation because this is a much easier way. So let's assume it's an even amount, and it's not. Options for the same week don't move at the same percentage as leaps, for example, long-term options and swing options. It's significantly different if you have a month out or if you have a week out, or if it's very volatile or not volatile. So when you're buying options, and I don't recommend you buy them if you don't know what you're doing with them, you have to have a definitive game plan with them. You have to legit know what price you want to get out at, because the time is going to work against you. Amazon calls, for example, can be dangerous same week because it moves slow, whereas Tesla can make a move up and you can get out, and it can move back down and you can get out, right? Or you can lose your shirt. Okay, so I hope that answers it a little bit, Adam. I don't know if that's what you were asking. All right, RIVN and Poet, and then we're going to head over to Miss Mary for some trading. Let's see, Rivian. Didn't I cover Rivian? I didn't. Okay. By the way, I'm in Poet. FYI. I'll tell you what position I have on Poet. So, where is Rivian? I just added it. I think it's not letting me add any more names here. Hold on a second. Let me remove some names. RIVN. Let's go. Here we go. All right, Rivian. Rivian just passed. No, it didn't. Never mind. That was DKNG. Doing very good, by the way. DraftKings. Very nice. Rivian is sitting close to the middle of pre-market high and low. What we want to see in Rivian, it's doing okay. It's the RSI is not amazing. The volume is picking up a little bit. MACD not horrible. I think on Rivian, we want to see it pass. What's this number here? Hold on a second. My charts are getting wacky right now. What is going on? We want to see Rivian move up. So if you look at, is anyone looking at the chart? Okay, this is a little bit, I'm having a problem showing the number here. But pre-market high on Rivian and pre-market low on Rivian, right in the middle is right around where the 20 is. And then you got the 50 right behind it. I'd like to see Rivian climb past the middle of pre-market high and pre-market low, which is roughly 1780 something. Let me redo this chart here. It's looking good though. You got trend. Rivian's got trend. Got some bullish momentum moving up. I like it. On the 5-minute, I like it a lot. On the 15-minute, I like it even more. I'd like to see it pass 17. It's actually right there. 1750, then 1760. And I think we could break up. We've got a few levels here. We got 1777 will be the next leg up after it passes 1760. And then 1791, we could have a super breakout. So I think Rivian's looking really good right now. In fact, it might be good for calls. RSI is nice. Trend is moving up. Might be good end of the week options play. Okay. Don't bet it on it because I said it. Just understand that I like it. I like it a lot. And there was one more name. What do we got? Yeah, Kevin. If you're playing this week or next week, for a quick move on Amazon, you could do it. But Amazon moves slow. So sometimes if you're just going to buy the stock AMZN, it's one thing. Is it a good time to buy Alphabet? I mean, Josh did a video, and I don't want to outbull the bull, but Alphabet could go lower, could dip a little bit lower. It's not bad. It could hold at this level and slowly keep moving up. But I don't know if you're going to get a 10% move on Alphabet in the next, 2-3 weeks. Really depends what your goal is. If you just want to own the stock long term, you want to hold it through 2026. I don't think it's bad. You can always dollar cost average, and keep going. Poet. That's what you guys asked about, right? All right, let's go to Poet. Poet, Poet. And I didn't even know it. Poet's looking good. Poet's RSI is very good. MACD's good. Volume's good. Poet is sitting at the middle, a pre-market high, pre-market low, above most of the averages. They got to get above the 9. They're currently like slightly above it, slightly above it, 627, 629. That's the range. Pre-market high. I'd like to see Poet pass 640. If it passes 640, I could see it making a new high. What position do I have on Poet? I have the $8 April 2026 calls. So I'm out of the money. I don't normally take out of the money calls. I like to get in the money calls and spend more money, but I bought those calls when Poet was around 7. So they were a loss for me when the market dropped in November. And then I just dollar cost averaged into them because I saw the news on Poet and it looked really good. I currently have 50 of those calls. Not a massive position, but a nice position. And I got all the way till April. I think Poet's doing good right now. Might not be a bad entry for long term. If you're going to just buy the stock, it's a great price. If you want to get in on calls, I personally would like to see it break 639, right? 640, bingo. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, in my opinion. SoFi, last trade. Okay, we will do SoFi. Yeah, Kevin. I used to do covered calls against my calls as a hedge, and I would get out of them if they dropped, and I would just cap my upside a little bit. But Webull is not letting me do that for some reason. Although I'm saving a ton of money on fees from E-Trade. I recently moved, and I'm learning the Webull platform, getting used to it. Very easy to trade options quickly. All right, SoFi. I love SoFi, but right now they're not my friend. All right, let's see. Why do I have two pre-market highs here? All right, hold on a second. Let me delete this one. That's what happened. Why did my chart do that? All right, here we go. Let me save this. All right, so SoFi also sitting at the middle. It seems like a lot of these names are sitting at the middle of pre-market high and pre-market low. You know, that tells you a lot about where the bulls and bears are at. RSI looking good, pointing up. MACD looking good. SoFi, I gave you the levels. You got the $30, you got the 27, you got the 25. It kind of moves in like $2 or change increments, right? SoFi, you really want it to go above $28.04 for it to be looking fantastic and regain all the levels. That's my number. Then I think it could move up to over $30, right? Where was it not too long ago? Huge red candle on Thursday, multiple huge red candles up from the top of 29.69. It dropped to 29, ran back up to 29.63, and then went all the way down to 27 and change. So not far off from where it is now. So now it seems like it's doing a recovery on that, but I will not be convinced until I see it pass the 28 and change dollar level. All right. That's what I want to see on SoFi. We don't have any amazing new news. It didn't get added to the S&P 500, you know. Oh, you live where their home office is? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I live in Israel, for all you guys didn't know. All right, guys. I hope that was informative. I hope I got everybody's questions answered. Managed to look up a bunch of names for everybody. It was a lot of fun, actually. Let's go join Miss Mary in the live session for scalp trading in the last hour. I'm very excited. I like the last half hour, to be honest. I'm going to jump in a minute and refill my coffee and then move in. What do I think about Amazon? I'm bullish on Amazon. I don't like the chart right now. I'm very bullish on Amazon from everything else but the technicals. I'm not loving the technicals. I'm trying to follow the Miss Mary method, right? So I love the fundamentals on Amazon. It's purchase season. We're Santa Rally. They had great earnings. Their AWS technology is doing great. They're not exactly tanking. You know, when the market was down this morning, they didn't exactly tank. You know, they were actually the strongest opener. You know, it looked like. But they're slowly going down. Could they slowly go up? Maybe there's just a little accumulation happening here. I don't know. Maybe. Right now, you want to see them get above the 9, which is around 227. They're floating around it during this entire stream. Amazon went from, before the stream started, they were at 228, right? Around the time the stream started, they were just under 227. And then they went back up above 227.21. And now they went down to 226.73 and they're climbing again. I wouldn't read into it too much because you want to see how they end for the day, right? You want to see how they open tomorrow. You can't just judge the first day before an FOMC meeting, right? That's my opinion. It's not showing me tremendous weakness, but it's weaker. It's got some bears coming in. They're poking around. They're trying to figure out if they can control some stuff here. It's not exactly a tremendous bear drop, Where were they at the beginning of the day? Let's see. Their high of the day was 230.82. So they actually tested really high highs, and their low of the day was 226.70. So they bounced off of the low. They bounced off of it again. Looks like they almost went to bounce off of it again. They're above the 9 on the 5-minute. They're about to go above the 20 right now. Looks like they're right now, the volume's picking up. You know, if you see Amazon go above 228, I'm very happy. That's what I'm looking for. I'm in it. I accidentally you're gonna laugh, but I meant to add one call when I saw the momentum moving up, and I accidentally doubled my position. So I'm just sharing with you because I'm always honest. I share with you exactly what's going on. So right now I'm sitting on a 12% loss on my Amazon calls expiring next Friday, the 19th. I have the $225 calls. I'm still in them. I'm still comfortable with them. I got about a 25% stop loss set on most of them. So, you know, I'm still 10% away. It would have to be below 225, 224.50, 224.25, something like that for me to really unload my position and take my loss. Here, it's moving up right now as we talk. So I'm getting out of here, guys. I love you all. Thank you very, very much for joining. Hope to see you in 2 weeks. I'm not coming in next week because of Hanukkah. I'm going to take off, light some menorahs, spin some dreidels, open some presents. I just got my kids an unbelievable present. I don't want to say anything because maybe they're watching, but I got them an unbelievable present that I think they're going to be very excited about. And that's it. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I like the look of the Rivian trucks. Yeah, Rivian's cool. Rivian's cool, but are they going to really dominate the car market? I don't think so. The problem with car companies is they're very expensive to run. They make money on the parts. They make money on the service. Tesla's kind of dominant because in the electric market they've cornered the market to a degree. You know what I mean? So it's going to take a lot. Ford tried to roll it out. They did very well, but they didn't do so well within the size and the scope of what they are. You know, they should stick to their gas guzzlers. All right, guys. Love y'all. I really want to get into this scalp trading stream and get my coffee, and I'll catch you later.